My name's Trystan Petrash. Now if you're watching this, you're clearly into food in some respects. But I know a lot of you are still hesitant about cooking and can find it a bit intimidating. And I get that, trust me. So today I'm going to show you 2 recipes that are beyond easy and anything but bank-breaking. They're perfect for beginners who have very minimal experience in the kitchen. By the end, hopefully you've made something not only incredibly delicious, but something you can actually be really proud of. The first dish we'll be making is a garlic shrimp that's about as basic and beginner as you can get. The second dish we'll be making is a Chinese-style coconut shrimp, which may look a bit intimidating, but I promise you is f***ing easy. For the shrimp, I'm using medium-sized tiger. However, one is deveined and one is peeled, with the tip still attached. You can absolutely use completely peeled shrimp for either dish, but I'll explain why I chose these in a bit. The first dish we're going to make is the garlic shrimp, starting with a seasoning salt. So in a small bowl, combine kosher salt, paprika, sugar, garlic powder, onion powder, turmeric, and a tiny bit of cornstarch. This is essentially a copy of Lowry's seasoning salt, but you can just use that if you have some. The next thing we're going to make is a garnish in the form of crispy garlic chips. In a small pot, add about an inch worth of a neutral oil like canola and set over low heat. We'll also need a plate or pan lined with paper towel to soak up all that excess oil. You're going to want to go fairly thin with the garlic, just short of being transparent. So while you can use a knife to thinly slice, using a Japanese mandolin will help to achieve consistent slices. Just be careful. Add the thinly sliced garlic to the oil and gently stir to separate the slices and avoid breaking them. Continue cooking on low heat while occasionally stirring. It will take a few minutes until they start to get some color, but going any higher on the temperature, you run the risk of them burning pretty quick. Just as they start to lightly brown, remove them, draining off any excess oil, and spread out over the paper towel. Then set aside. Since we are making garlic shrimp, we're gonna need a bunch of minced garlic. Using a microplane or garlic crusher may be easier, but will make the garlic too small, causing it to burn quickly. So this is a perfect opportunity to practice those knife skills. And speaking of knife skills, consider signing up for a monthly membership to my channel. There you'll get access to my new how-to series, starting with basic knife skills. Lastly, before we start cooking, take a small bowl and combine all-purpose flour with a bit of the seasoning salt. Then add the shrimp with its shell still attached and toss to combine and fully coat each piece. Heat a pan, preferably cast iron, over medium-high heat and add a decent amount of the oil we fried the garlic in. Once it's hot and shimmering, add the shrimp, shaking off any excess flour. Now the reason I chose to keep the shells on for this one is because they'll help to retain moisture and are less likely to overcook and dry out. Cook for about a minute until they start to turn a nice golden brown, then flip and cook for another minute. Make a space in the center and throw in a couple nubs of butter, followed by the minced garlic. Then toss to combine until the butter is melted and the garlic becomes fragrant, roughly 2 minutes. Deglaze the pan with a generous splash of white wine or another light alcohol, some lemon juice, and a small amount of water. If alcohol isn't your thing, just add a bit more water instead. Toss and simmer until the liquid is reduced, then remove from the heat and add a final nub of butter. As the pan begins to cool, the butter will slowly melt and mix with the remaining liquid, forming a thickened sauce. Season with some kosher salt and freshly cracked black pepper. Then bust out your fanciest plate, pile all of those buttery, garlicky shrimp in the center, and top with an obscene amount of the garlic chips. And that's it! Quick and oh so easy garlic shrimp. For the coconut shrimp, we'll be using the peeled shrimp with the tip still attached. Now, this isn't your typical coconut shrimp breaded with panko and shredded coconut, but rather a creamy Chinese style. To start, in a small bowl, combine mayonnaise, coconut milk. Use a full fat coconut milk, otherwise the sauce will be too thin. Sweeten condensed milk, which will give it some sweetness, richness, and help thicken it. Kosher salt, white pepper. If you don't have any, just use half as much finely ground black pepper, and a tiny bit of lemon juice to brighten it all up. Give everything a good mix until nice and thick. A whisk, especially a mini one like this, will eliminate any lumps and thicken the sauce faster. then set aside in the fridge to thicken it further. Unlike the typical coconut shrimp, this Chinese style is battered. So in a large bowl, combine mochiko, which is a sweet rice flour. If you're unable to find any, as it's not super common even amongst Asian grocers, regular rice flour will work. Cornstarch, kosher salt, and an egg. Then whisk together while slowly adding very cold water or soda water. The cold temperature is important since it helps to keep the batter nice and crisp when frying. The consistency you're looking for is a slightly runny pancake batter. Then place in the fridge to keep it nice and cold. Lastly, we'll need a bowl with cornstarch for dredging, giving the wet batter something to stick to. And of course, some thinly sliced green onion for garnish. For deep frying, I always recommend using a cast iron Dutch oven like this versus an electric fryer for a couple reasons. They're a million times easier to clean for starters. They have a wider surface area, meaning you can fry more and more evenly, and they can be used for a variety of cooking applications, where fryers are only good for, well, frying. Add 2 inches of a neutral oil like canola, then place the pot over medium-high heat. Using a baking sheet with a wire rack will help to drain off the oil faster, keeping things crisper, but paper towel works too if you don't have. Set up the batter, cornstarch, and shrimp next to the fryer. When the oil reaches a temperature of 350 degrees Fahrenheit, take the shrimp, holding it by the tail, and dredge it in the cornstarch, shaking off any excess. Then into the batter, shaking off any excess. Carefully lower the shrimp into the oil and gently move it back and forth before allowing it to drop. This helps to prevent it from sticking to the bottom of the pot. Leaving the tips of the shell on gives you something to grab onto, as they get pretty slippery when battered. Continue to fry until they just turn a very light golden brown and the shrimp are cooked and opaque in the center, about 2 to 3 minutes. Then place on the resting rack to drain. Repeat with the remaining shrimp. Add the shrimp to a large bowl and drizzle over just enough of the coconut cream mix to lightly coat but not drown the shrimp. Then bust out your second fanciest plate, spoon some of the remaining coconut cream into the center, and top with the crispy shrimp and thinly sliced green onion. And that's it! Chinese-style coconut shrimp. Both dishes can be served alongside rice or noodles for a very simple weeknight dinner. Or you can be like me and say f*** it and just eat a shit ton of shrimp. Because shrimp. But as always, you do you. If you like my channel and are interested in supporting it while getting some cool perks, like access to my private Discord server where I post behind the scenes and details on upcoming episodes, bonus content, and shoutouts in episodes, you can check out my Ko-fi page. I'll have a link for that as well as the equipment I used in this episode and the gear and services I used to make it in the description. And hey, if you've made it this far, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. They're the easiest ways to help the channel grow and reach a wider audience. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.